the recovery, once again the cross, they could shoot, and it's in!
And it's that bot as that guy Fran, he gets inside and gets a shot past the goalkeeper. Wonderful work from Fran.
On the right side, the shot and the goal!
Good evening and welcome to this fall 2025 UPSL Premier Conference game in the Kentucky-Tennessee division between the hosts Tennessee Tempo FC and the visitors Southern Indiana FC. I'm your commentator Mark Turner here with the Veta Media Group. Very excited to bring you this top of the conference clash this evening. A game between first place versus second. As you can see, it's a beautiful evening here in Murfreesboro in Nashville. Taking a look at the top of the table there, we can see that our reigning national champions, Tennessee Tempo, 3 for 3. 3 straight victories, 9 points on the board. Southern Indiana, tucked up behind them, also with a flawless record right now, although only having had played the 2 games. So 6 points to their name. But they've already opened up a bit of a gap between themselves and third place, who have played 4 matches already. So well positioned early in the season. These 2 teams are definitely going to be among the pace setters. As I said, beautiful evening here in Murfreesboro in Tennessee, just southeast of Nashville, for the geography buffs among you. Game taking place at Siegel High School. It's mid to high 80s. It's probably about 86, 87 degrees right now. You can see shadows on the field and bright sunshine in the stands. Hopefully those temperatures will come down just a little bit as the game progresses this evening, making it that bit easier on the players. Taking a look at detailed records for the 2 teams, the first thing that jumps out at you in regards to Tennessee Tempo is 12 goals to the good on the board. That's pretty impressive in just 3 matches. Southern Indiana have been able to notch 7 goals, across 2 games, but perhaps the stat that jumps out most there is that they haven't yet conceded a goal in 180 minutes. You can see the Tempo on the left-hand side of the screen in their distinctive all-red uniforms, getting in the last of their warm-ups. Getting ready to continue to defend their first ever national title. We'll talk more about that during the broadcast. But they are our current champions. They are the team to beat. And that's exactly what Southern Indiana FC will be hoping to do this evening. It's no mean feat to become a national champion in UPSL. It is the United States' largest pro development league. Many conferences, many teams from across the United States competing for all the marbles to be crowned the best in the United Premier Soccer League. Tennessee Tempo have that distinction per a successful spring season. I'll give you the starting lineups here in just a moment. We'll wait for the teams to make their way to centre field with the officials, and then we'll share out the 22 players who are going to join us for the opening whistle. Well, the officials seem ready to go, and the Tempo appear to be going through the last of their team talk. Southern Indiana making their way to the field also. Again, delighted to be joined this evening with you by Veta Media, proud partners of UPSL. Always a great team to work with, and it is a privilege of ours to be able to support the United Premier Soccer League. Great weekend of soccer if you're an English Premier League fan. You might be able to garner from the accent. I'm not from around these parts, but certainly an interesting and enjoyable 2 days in England. The highlight of the soccer calendar this weekend surely has to be my daughter's game, as she provided an assist in a 3-2 victory. Good job, honey. Proud commentator dad over here. Okay, well, the officials look ready to walk us out. Not sure the teams have quite noticed it yet, but need to follow the officials out so we can get this game going. Now, they're certainly not standing on ceremony. The referee's going to need to sound the whistle, get the attention of everybody. Again, very excited for this game this evening. Tennessee Tempo currently in top spot in the Kentucky-Tennessee Conference. As we saw earlier, Southern Indiana tucked in behind them. So this promises to be a real doozy this evening. I don't know if we'll see an abundance of goals, because on paper these teams do seem very equally matched. It might be a low-scoring affair, but it promises to be a hotly contested one. So I don't know that we had the opportunity to give you the lineups. I'll run through those. Game's about to get underway. It looks like Southern Indiana in the all-white to kick off. I will make sure that you know who's out there on the field here momentarily, as the game is underway. Southern Indiana going from right to left on your screen. Again, in the all-white uniform with the teal accents. Currently in possession. Tennessee Tempo going from left to right, of course, in the all-red. Nice composed start from Southern Indiana. Good spell of possession here in the first 30 seconds. And they make headway down the left-hand side. A little bit of a heavy pass, and that will give the Tempo possession for the first time this evening. Starting this evening for your Tennessee Tempo, number 40, Dornhauer. Number 18, Oduro. Number 45, Jagby. Number 23, Muirhead. Number 21, Guye. Number 22, Watts. Number 10, Parrish. Number 17, Ventura. Number 13, Kamara. Number 15, Badai. And number 25, Sassano. And searching ball on the left-hand side, intercepted well by the Tempo, who now have an opportunity to counter, going through the centre of defence, and that could be a red card. There was cover, but depends how harsh the referee wants to be here. It's certainly a yellow card and a free kick. He's calling on the trainer, I think, to take a look. It was a heavy tackle. Tackle, I think, on number 22, Watts, who was bursting through the heart. Southern Indiana defence. I'm trying to determine here whether or not the player who was just carded has left the field or not, because in the bright sunlight it was hard for me to distinguish whether that was a yellow card or a red card, although the player's reaction suggested probably a yellow card. And to be fair to that player, there was cover. There were other players in hot pursuit as well, so still some work for Watts to do for the Tempo. He was certainly on his way, chopped down unceremoniously. Receiving some attention now. So let's quickly go through the Southern Indiana starting 11. Number 31, Cadian. Number 4, Alum. Number 13, Jack. Number 26, Mike. Number 5, Hadji. Number 14, Elias. Number 6, Jed. Number 7, Alan. Number 10, Nate. Number 55, Casey. And number 15, Kellen. So those are your 22 starters. Looks like Watts is back up on his feet. Moving a little gingerly, but still on the field of play, so that's good to see. Now Tennessee Tempo, free kick. A pretty dangerous area, probably too far to test the goalkeeper, I'd suggest. You never quite know. I only see 10 Southern Indiana players in our shot right now. So again, I can't confirm for you. They still have 11 players on the field, or 10. Let's worry about that after this free kick, though. Tennessee Tempo. First shot on goal. Just narrowly wide. Sends the Southern Indiana goalkeeper sprawling. I think he had it covered. Probably would have got fingertips to it, but did well to get over the wall. Dip that ball down, heading for that bottom corner. Yeah, I think the keeper pretty much had it covered. Certainly gave him something to think about. And then Indiana back in possession. Work in the middle of the park, and then they turn the ball over. Tennessee Tempo giving their goalkeeper his first touch of the game. Tempo known as being a really well-rounded team, and I suppose that makes sense with them being our current national champions. Generally speaking, you don't rise to that position being good at just the one thing. Typically it's a well-rounded organisation, and that's certainly what we saw from the team from Tennessee last year. Stalwart defence, conceded very few goals, but also free scoring at the other end of the field as well. Again, thank you for joining us for this UPSL all-season 2025 Premier Conference game. Kentucky-Tennessee Conference out on the field this evening. Two of the best teams in that conference battling it out really for top spot. Southern Indiana can get the W this evening. It's possible they could leapfrog Tennessee Tempo, although Tennessee Tempo do have pretty overwhelming goal difference right now. So they may retain top spot, even if they lose this evening, but it would certainly put them on level pegging as far as points on the board are concerned. It'll only be goal difference that separates them. Tennessee Tempo, they will be anxious to get the win themselves to further extend their lead and their domination over this conference. Although of the two teams, they're probably the one that could most stand for this game to end in a tie, would perhaps be least disappointed with that, given that Southern Indiana are the team in second place looking to make up ground. Tempo in possession now, working the ball down the right-hand side. Looking to try and bring it back under good pressure from Southern Indiana, who thought they'd earn themselves a throw-in in the process, but ball stays with the All Reds. Tempo now looking to make headway down their left-hand side, where they've had a little bit of joy so far, or at least seem eager to press. To be confident about their attacking talent down that side of the field. Nice work from Southern Indiana. Ball played up to the forward. Tempo able to mop up. Not able to connect the pass though. Going the other way. I mentioned this evening's game is at the Siegel High School field, home to the Tennessee Tempo, who are defending at this moment in time and do so without too much panic. And that this field is located on the southeast side of Nashville, which puts it about a little over 3 hours driving distance from Southern Indiana's home base. So 6-hour round trip, a little over that. So you definitely don't want to do 6 hours in a car and come away with an L. Another compelling reason, I'm sure, that Southern Indiana are going to be anxious to get something out of tonight's match. Oh, but they're not going to do it that way. Bit of a mistake. Referee deciding to allow the game to play on. A little handsy from Southern Indiana. They're struggling right now, but they do win themselves a free kick. It's like teammate being coached. Suggestion to Alon being get rid of the ball. Here we're seeing the incident from earlier in the game where Watts was chopped to the ground. We'll see the card come out again and see if we can make a better assessment here if that's yellow or red. I think that's yellow. So that would mean both teams have their full complement of 11 players apiece. So that's a good thing. Always like to see that whenever possible. Unless the foul is particularly egregious. And that wasn't a great foul, certainly, but I don't think it was malicious. One player wasn't looking to hurt the other. Yellow card, probably the right call by the referee. Both teams very comfortable in possession, as we've already seen in the opening 10 minutes. Just feeling each other out, trying to find space and opportunity. Two teams who are so well marshaled, though that is going to be at a premium. They're going to have to work hard, move each other around a little bit and create those spaces between lines, those openings down the channel. Just noticing the graphic on the bottom of the screen, obviously Veta Media, a proud partner of UPSL. I don't think I knew, though, that we broadcast over 500 games with the United Premier Soccer League. That is astonishing. But it's all in an effort to bring you as much high-quality soccer as possible from the country's largest professional development league. I'd like to give UPSL a follow on social media. Their handle is, rather helpfully, UPSL Soccer. Check them out on X and Instagram. Well, as I speculated at the top of the game, pretty low-key match. Two teams that are very equally matched. It means they're going to have to really take their time, be very thoughtful about how they try and broach one another's back lines. Great opportunities to score. Collision there, referee giving the advantage away of tempo. But it could just be the one goal this evening that settles this game. Was a heavy collision there on the far side of the field. Again, no malice in that. Two players going for a 50-50 ball. Certainly tempo seemed to come off worse. I'll get a replay of that here in just a second. There we go. Vetter on the spot, as always. Thank you, guys. So again, 50-50 ball. In fact, if anything, and I'm not casting aspersions here, but tempo player probably came in maybe a little more dangerously with his leg high. Again, no malice, no intent to hurt the other player. It just happened to be where his leg was as he sprang into the air. In fact, it was he that came off worse. Back on his feet now, though, and the game's back underway, which is great to see. Tempo now looking to make headway down the right-hand side, but outnumbered. Two Southern Indiana defenders playing tag and winning the ball back. Only to give it away. The tempo now with numbers in the attacking third, but not much space to work in. And a miscommunication in that instance. So you can see what we have here tonight, folks. A cat and dog match. This is going to be almost a chess match. As these two teams try and maintain their shape and their discipline, make it harder for the other to break through, not overextend themselves, while all the time looking for an opportunity to spring at the other end of the field. Nice header down from tempo. Looking to try and set that left winger behind the back line again, and he has wheels and was able to get on the end of that pass. Now he's looking to deliver something into the box. It's Watts who waits. Well cleared out, though, from Southern Indiana, but only as far as tempo once again. Finally, Southern Indiana able to clear their lines. Great to see so many of the national championship winning tempo back again with the team this season. You always worry that when a team wins a championship, their players are going to get picked off at higher levels. Tempo are able to retain some of their stars, though, from last year. Chief among them, Oduro, number 18, who, of course, scored the championship-winning goal against LA10 in California just a couple of months ago. Ball into the box. Nice header out from Southern Indiana. Looking to try and retrieve it, but tempo picking up the scraps. Southern Indiana again, hustling, winning the ball back. Continuing to turn the ball over, though. Every time Southern Indiana win the ball back and try and spring, tempo smother them and regain possession quickly. I would expect tempo to edge the game here, being, again, both the national champions and also the hosts this evening, so you'd have to call them favourites, if only slight favourites, given the strength of the opposition. Right now, they are showing their dominance in possession, even if they're not creating anything clear-cut in the way of chances. Nice footwork there, though, connecting defence with midfield. Defence pushing up higher and higher, trying to squeeze the game a little bit. Great feet from Watts. Tippy toes through a couple. It's stopped by Southern Indiana, though. right on the edge of their box. Ball comes back to Tempo. Bit of a miscommunication, asking a lot of the winger. Gets there, drills a great ball into the box. And a shot whistling over the crossbar. Good progress from Tennessee Tempo. Really nice ball into the box from the right-hand side. It was Ventura who delivered that deep cross right to left. And ultimately the shot flying over the crossbar. Good work from Southern Indiana. This is a little more hopeful. Thinking their passes a little higher up the field. Got some work to do here, though, to keep the ball in, and they do. And win themselves a throw-in the process. Good hustle down the left-hand side. Issy with the throw. Not too many options. He has one right at home. He decides to use it. Gets the ball back. Heavy touch from Jed. And Tempo are once again in possession. So in addition to Oduro, several other players out here of Nigerian descent. And indeed the owner of Tennessee Tempo of Nigerian descent. So wonderful African flavour runs through the heart of this Tennessee Tempo team. This Tennessee Tempo UPSL National Championship winning team. As far as African nations go, Nigeria is a pretty good one to be influenced by. They have one of the strongest national team programs in Africa, certainly on the men's side of things. Not as familiar with the women's game in Africa, but the Super Eagles, very impressive. Tend to always put in a good showing at every World Cup. And who knows, maybe some of these Tennessee Tempo players this evening will find themselves on that stage at some point. The World Cup, of course, being hosted here in the US this next year. Might be a little soon for some of these guys to graduate to the full Super Eagles, but I'm sure stranger things have happened, you never know. At the very least, they're going to enjoy watching the Nigerian men's national team playing on American soil, should they qualify for the World Cup. Southern Indiana, lovely ball into the centre of the park, not able again though to retain possession. The Tempo do such a good job smothering them high at the field. It's interesting, I think Southern Indiana doing a good job of dropping in, creating a deep bank, making it really hard for the Tempo to penetrate. Whereas the Tempo, they would rather press you higher up the field or win the ball higher up the field. They've been very successful in doing so up till this point, although not able to create a ton in terms of clear-cut chances. Only two shots of real note, both of them wide, one just wide of the post, the other over the crossbar, for the Tempo. Southern Indiana yet to register their first shot of the game here in the 20th minute. Well, I have to admit, I haven't commentated on the Tempo previously, so didn't have the pleasure of watching them up close and personal. Saw highlights of some of their games. I was excited for them to win a national championship this last year. Play some very vibrant football and play with a lot of passion. And they, of course, were beaten finalists in 2022, which I'm sure was heartbreaking for them. So to come back just 3 years later and finally get their hands on the silverware, that was quite the day. Again, congratulations to the team from Tennessee. Southern Indiana still waiting for their first national championship. Eel Nation, as they call themselves, are one of the most ambitious teams, though, in UPSL. The program is growing rapidly. I know they are desperate to win a national championship. I believe they have plans to build a purpose-built stadium for soccer and further expand what is already an impressive academy. So, again, two teams here who aren't messing around. Both intend to stick around for a long time and build academies and far-reaching soccer programs and not only lift up their communities but also fill the trophy cabinet with silverware. Again, good work from Tempo, smothering Southern Indiana attempt to spring forward, although the referee decides on this occasion they did so unlawfully. Free kick to Southern Indiana. And Teal Nation do something with this free kick. It's not at a particularly dangerous spot, but it might give them a chance to launch something deep in behind the Tempo lines, and that's exactly where they look. It's Tempo, though, clearing the ball out and doing a really good job, actually, of clearing the ball thoroughly out of their defensive third, despite, though, giving it back to Southern Indiana, who now are going to need to move the ball quickly because they know the Tempo are going to try and stop them as early as possible. They do a good job, though, of playing the ball out to the left. Casey drilling it into the back post, headed out by Tempo. Casey sadly not finding a Southern Indiana teammate on that occasion. Good work from the Tempo, but I think once again the referee has decided there was an infringement there. Sometimes the Tempo's enthusiasm gets the better of them. But the referee is Johnny on the spot. He's making sure that all infringements, as he sees them, are pulled up. Casey again looking to try and deliver from this left-hand side. Hasn't been particularly successful so far this evening, although he is making himself available. He's a willing runner. Tempo once again intercepting and getting a push in their back for their troubles. Easy free kick. Ventura. Just a little bit of skill there from Ventura, then takes it off the thigh, outside of the foot, and down he goes. Ball out to the left-hand side once again. Not Casey on this occasion. Instead it's Nate. He decides to run the ball back, though, to the aforementioned Casey. Lots of numbers up, but again, the Tempo on their toes. Trying to close down Southern Indiana as quickly as possible. Good ball over the back line, headed away by Tempo for the throw-in. Good defence from the Tempo. It was hard to judge where that ball was going to drop, and it could have gone out for a corner, but instead just giving up the less dangerous throw-in option. Ball brought under. Snapshot. Well, that's a shot or a cross, but either way, I think it was deflected away and then Tempo able to clear it out. Alan with a hopeful hit and hope on that occasion. Very distinctive looking Alan. The dreadlocks. His arms in the air right now. He's a very dangerous player. Big, robust, quick. Can shoot with either foot. Already a couple of times this season he's shown his ability to carry the ball. Certainly a player that Tennessee Tempo need to keep an eye on. So, over 25 minutes on the clock. No real shots of note to share with you. Had a couple wide from the Tempo, but nothing on frame yet for either team. All over the back. looking for Casey. He brings it down smartly. One-on-one now, shaped up. Looks to find space for the cross. Gets the cross in. Really does a great job actually getting the cross in, but unfortunately for him it was a little long. So the Tempo now looking to spring on the counter. Trying to find Watts. Oh, sloppy in from Indiana in a dangerous area in the middle of the park. And now Tempo are breaking forward in a 4-on-4 situation. Well defended though. Deflects it out for a throw-in. Not sure if that was a shot or a cross. I think perhaps he was looking to try and curl that ball in behind the Southern Indiana defence to find Watts. Parrish's effort on that occasion not quite working out, but he does win himself a throw-in, or his team a throw-in. Ventura to take. Well headed out from Southern Indiana. Tempo with a long shot, palmed away by the Southern Indiana goalkeeper. Shot gets a round of applause from Watts, and well it might. It's the best effort of the night, and it's the first one on frame. And it brought out a nimble and athletic save from the Southern Indiana goalkeeper, who concedes a corner in the process. Parrish to deliver. Tennessee Tempo with their hackles up. Played away at the front post from Southern Indiana, and that shot not nearly as dangerous as the prior one. Not a particularly good corner, truth be told. Not a particularly good clearing header either, but thankfully the shot that followed was of equal quality to both the corner and the attempted clearance. Southern Indiana goalkeeper able to breathe a sigh of relief after a spectacular save. Tempo, though, back in possession on the attack once more. That pass a little too heavy. Regardless of how quick that winger is on the left-hand side, he was never going to get on the end of that. Allow with a push in the back. I was waiting to see if the referee was going to call that. Seemed like a pretty obvious one, and it was right under his nose. So I apologise, I don't have a designation on the Southern Indiana team sheet or a goalkeeper, but I think the way that the numbers are organised, Southern Indiana's goalkeeper is Cadian. I'd love to be able to give him his props for what was a fantastic save just moments earlier. So unless I'm told otherwise, I'm going to go with Cadian in the Southern Indiana goal, stopping a certain opening goal from Tennessee Tempo. Watts brings the ball under his spell, looking to find space! I think he hits, well, if the referee's blown his whistle, I think he hit the upright behind the soccer goal. I think he hit the American football goals. Thought for a half a second he might have hit the crossbar, but Watts did a really good job of finding space even to get the shot off. He was surrounded by Southern Indiana defenders. And yeah, the ball did go out of play. It did hit that back stanchion on the American football goal. Tennessee Tempo looking increasingly dangerous as his first half rolls on. See that effort again. Again, good feet from Watts. Creates a lot of space for himself. You know what? I think that did hit the crossbar. And I think it was headed out by a following up Tempo player. That makes that shot all the more impressive. Watts looking busy and dangerous in this opening 30 minutes. Working off scraps, but he made the most of it there. Free kick into the box from Southern Indiana. Tipped away from the Tempo goalkeeper who's taking no chances. Southern Indiana back into the box looking to recycle. An attempted acrobatic effort didn't quite come off, and the Tempo now looking to get out of their own area. But the Southern Indiana doing a good impression of the Tempo, smothering them. To win the ball back is Alan now. Can't quite find the space, gets shut down, ball deflects to a teammate. But still, the tempo, doggedly. Clearing their lines. Watts trying to find some space, he does so, gets away from his defender. Goalkeeper comes out to smother the attempt. I actually think it was the defender who was finally able to block it away. Watts falls to the ground, I think he's holding his wrist, hopefully didn't hurt himself in the process. Does a good job here of harrying the defender. Goalkeeper comes out to close the angle. Yeah, it was the defender's leg, outstretched leg, that ultimately blocked the ball away, resulting in a tempo corner. Again, Watts is just a nuisance. He's a bully, he's quick, he's got good feet. He is certainly keeping that Southern Indiana back line on their toes. Parrish with a corner. It's past the first man on this occasion, header down! Falls to Watts' feet, but it was so quick he wasn't able to respond. Now Southern Indiana looking to break on the counter. Don't have much in the way of numbers, and it doesn't matter because the ball is rather carelessly played out of play. Thank you for joining us for this United Premier Soccer League Premier Conference Kentucky-Tennessee game between the Tennessee Tempo and Southern Indiana FC. Two of the best teams in UPSL. One of them its current national champion and the other one an aspiring national champion. Two teams who between them have played 5 matches this season, and it's nothing but W's. One of those teams, though, either one or both will break that duck this evening. Either one of them will come out victorious and maintain their streak, whereas the other one will pick up their first loss of the season, or they could both go home with a point apiece and a tie in the register. Right now it's Tennessee Tempo who look more likely, though, to break a deadlock. They've had a shot on target, acrobatically saved by Cadian in the Southern Indiana goal. Watts has rung the crossbar and also been terrorizing Southern Indiana back line pretty routinely. Ball in from Parrish, a little too long. Was asking a lot of his teammates. Parrish is either full-on cold tap or full-on hot tap, isn't he? See the ball to the front man that gets cleared away, or ball to the back post that's asking a little too much of his teammates. Unless he can calibrate those taps to warm. Perhaps his teammates can make something of those crosses. Better Media and UPSL, our partners, broadcasting over 500 games a season, which is an absolutely staggering statistic. Check out UPSL at UPSL Soccer on X, Instagram, and all of the places where you check out all of the things. Another yellow card issued here, second of the night, Southern Indiana. Doesn't get too much more obvious than that. The referee a mere 7 or 8 yards away. No hesitation with the yellow card. Tennessee Tempo patiently striking it around the back line, trying to draw Southern Indiana out, but they're not falling for it. They're staying deeply entrenched, as seems to be their approach to this match. They're looking to spring, and here is one of those occasions. It's Nate on the ball. Doesn't have much in the middle to aim for, but he finds a teammate, and it's a great header, and it's a great save, although it is offside. Nate does the absolute most with that. What a beautiful ball, taking out 4 or 5 defenders in the process. Clipped header in the centre of the park. Goalkeeper does get his hand to it. Unbeknownst to him, the flag has gone up. Great goalkeeping, regardless of the fact that that was offside. Moment of danger for Tennessee Tempo. Southern Indiana finally making one of those counter-attacks stick. Asking Dornhauer in the Tempo goal to be alert. Got from distance, right into the breadbasket. Canadian watching that all day long. Comfortable as you like. Well, we've talked multiple times about the Tempo's national championship win, and I've suggested that Southern Indiana would love a national championship themselves, and as a club are certainly gearing up to that. Last season they went out in the round of 32, so they made postseason. We didn't go as deep as they would have liked to, particularly given that they had an unbeaten league season last year. Ball in from Casey on the left-hand side, easily cleared out by Tempo. But in the round of 32, they lost to Soda City by a score of 3-1. Soda City, of course, from South Carolina, getting the better of Southern Indiana, ending their national championship hopes at the round of 32. I'm sure the team from Indiana will be hoping to do better on this occasion. Tempo now with the ball. Shot goes wide. Cadian watching it all the way. I always think it must be really frustrating when you have a league season like Southern Indiana did, of going completely unbeaten, only then to lose in the playoffs. I mean, that is the nature of the playoffs, but that must be really maddening. For me, the only consolation in that situation is if you then lose to the eventual winners, which of course they didn't, so didn't even have that consolation. And so here they are again this season, back fighting for the right to contest the national championship. Very working class, blue collar team. Team that's held in great reverence in their community. There's a great degree of pride for this Southern Indiana team. They're grinders, that's for sure. Very hard working, very disciplined, as we're seeing this evening. Very hard to break down. Tempo player down on the floor. Referee having a discussion with some of the Southern Indiana players. They do not seem happy with that decision. May end up getting, may talk themselves into the book if they keep going. Referee's already flashed a yellow card twice. There's not a lot in that. I don't know that he won the ball there. So certainly it's a free kick. Excuse me, I missed that. The referee had already issued a yellow card. It was glancing down at my notes at that moment to see who was injured or who had been knocked to the ground. And that yellow card came out so quickly, it eluded me. So I imagine that's why the Southern Indiana players were drawing quite so much. Give away a foul is one thing, but to receive a yellow card in the process, well, sometimes as a player you can't help yourself. You just have to argue it and make your case. Being fully aware that the referee is not going to change his mind, of course. To the tempo with a free kick. The dangerous spot, again, it's probably just that bit far that it would take something really world class to beat Cadian. It's more likely to be a chip over the top, a tempo teammate to run onto. My money's on Watts. Here's a little dink over the top to the back post, headed back. Oh, it was Watts who was looming there, looking to get on the end of that ball, headed back. I guess it wouldn't have made any difference. It looks like it's an offside call on the back post. Yeah, player going too early. Will be disappointing for his coach, but good defending from Southern Indiana, who read the play pretty well and were well positioned to intercept. So Watts wouldn't have got on the end of that ball anyway. He was waiting. All over the top trying to find Watts. Pretty easy defence for Southern Indiana on that occasion. Now they're trying to find a way up the park, playing the ball through the middle. Deft touch by Allen. His teammates didn't read it. Ball clipped out to the right-hand side. It's Ventura being bossed by Allen, but the ball goes out for a throw-in, and the referee decides that the ball is Southern Indiana's. So Allen hangs out on the left-hand side. He's not going to be able to get on the end of that cross that Casey whips in. But then nor are any other of his teammates. Tempo defending well. Back in possession in the middle of the park. Southern Indiana pressing a little higher now. Just a few minutes to go in the half. Well, that was momentary, evidently, because now they've dropped back into their low block. Daring Tennessee Tempo to unpick them. Such a hard thing to do when you've got so many bodies in what is essentially the defensive third of the field. Ball ricocheting there, almost in Tempo's favour. Strong defending from Southern Indiana, clearing the lines. And mainly the challenge is, if you're trying to move the ball quickly to create space, it means you're having to play the ball with a little more zing. And especially on turf where the ball skips quickly anyway, then you're asking a teammate to bring that zipped pass down with a tight first touch and then do something with it with a second touch, and oftentimes that's asking a lot. That first touch isn't crisp. It takes nothing then for the other team to close you down. And to do all of that in tight spaces with so many bodies around you, it's very, very challenging. And that's really what's being asked of Tennessee Tempo this evening. Southern Indiana, though, not without their threats. We've seen them counter on a couple of occasions. I have to wonder, though, if they're playing for a draw this evening. Which, on the road, you know, you don't hate. It makes sense. You can win all your away. If you can win all of your home games and pick up as many points as possible on the road and go undefeated throughout the season, that's going to be more than enough to get you into the postseason in a high-seeded spot. Tennessee Tempo with a corner from the far-hand side. Not a particularly good one again, cleared out by Southern Indiana. And they're forced all the way back to their goalkeeper. Tempo coming out the other side now. Ventura drilling the ball over the top. I think trying to find Watts, but that was asking way too much of him. I was asking a lot of Usain Bolt. Now we're into time at the referee's discretion. Beyond the 45-minute regulation, we haven't had a ton in the way of stoppages. A couple of injuries that can add maybe a couple of 3 minutes to the clock. High foot from Allen. That was a little dangerous, and the referee mentions that to him. Tempo, though, back in possession. And in that left wing, again, good feet and good speed down that left-hand side, but smothered by the Southern Indiana defence, and they're clipped in the process. Free kick to our visitors. Well, I like Indiana, and I like Tennessee. And I'm not going to lie. These two teams are separated by one of my most favourite states in the Union, Commonwealth of Kentucky. I hope I haven't lost any viewers or listeners by revealing that, but I do like bourbon. There's no getting away from just how good Kentucky is in that regard. And also just a beautiful state. Nice people, beautiful countryside. At least Southern Indiana had to got to enjoy that drive. Now we have a player down, and it was actually a player down, I think, off the ball, which is always the most concerning. I don't think there was any kind of a collision. Immediately, they're calling on the medics, calling on the trainer. Let's take another look at this. Yeah, as you can see, it was, I don't know if there was maybe contact with Watt. Watt seems confused. Looks like the player on the floor is holding his foot. Perhaps Watt trod on his foot or something as they went past one another. Certainly doesn't appear intentional. See if we can get another look here again. Oh, actually, we're going to an earlier play. So that may add just a few extra seconds to the clock. We're already over 3 minutes. Beyond the 45. Injured player off to the side of the field. We'll come back on here in a moment, I'd imagine. It's Mike, I think, who's walking off whatever injury he picked up. And now he's back in play and on the ball. And the referee has whistled for half-time. So not much in the way of additional time, a little over 3 minutes. That's probably just about right. At the end of the first half, it's goose eggs all round. Tennessee Tempo 0, Southern Indiana 0. A cagey first half, not without its entertainment. Southern Indiana certainly setting out their stall with a low block, making it very difficult for Tennessee Tempo to create anything too clear-cut. They had a couple of chances. I've put Cadian in the Southern Indiana goal to work on a few occasions. Southern Indiana had their own gilt-edged chance as well. Dornhauer in the Tempo goal equal to it, although it did end up being an offside. And that's about all she wrote in the first 45 minutes. We look forward to rejoining the game with you in the second 45. See which of these two teams can break the deadlock.
Martin, in combination with the recovery, once again the cross, they could shoot, and it's in!
It's that guy Fran who gets inside and gets a shot past the goalkeeper. Wonderful work from Fran.
Over the right side, the shot! and the goal! Martin, Nico Polacic with the recovery, once again the cross, they could shoot, and it's in!
It's that guy Fran, he gets inside and gets a shot past the goalkeeper. Wonderful work from Fran.
Out over the right side, the shot, and the goal! Martin, Nico Polacic with the recovery, once again the cross, they could shoot, and it's in!
It's that guy Fran, he gets inside and gets a shot past the goalkeeper. Wonderful work from Fran.
Out over the right side, the shot, and the goal! Martin, Nico Polacic with the recovery, once again the cross, they could shoot, and it's in!
It's that guy Fran, he gets inside and gets a shot past the goalkeeper. Wonderful work from Fran.
Out over the right side, the shot, and the goal! Martin, Nico Polacic with the recovery, once again the cross, they could shoot, and it's in!
It's that guy Fran, he gets inside and gets a shot past the goalkeeper. Wonderful work from Fran.
Out over the right side, the shot, and the goal! Martin, Nico Polacic with the recovery, once again the cross, they could shoot, and it's in!
It's that guy Fran, he gets inside and gets a shot past the goalkeeper. Wonderful work from Fran.
Out over the right side, the shot, and the goal! Martin, Nico Polacic with the recovery, once again the cross, they could shoot, and it's in!
that guy Fran, he gets inside and gets a shot past the goalkeeper. Wonderful work from Fran.
Malcolm with the right side. The shot and the goal. Martin, in combination with the recovery, once again the cross, they could shoot, and it's in!
That guy Fran, he gets inside and gets a shot past the goalkeeper. Wonderful work from Fran.
Malcolm with the right side, the shot and the goal! Martin, in combination with the recovery, once again the cross, they could shoot, and it's in!
That guy Fran, he gets inside and gets a shot past the goalkeeper. Wonderful work from Fran.
Malcolm with the right side, the shot and the goal! Martin, in combination with the recovery, once again the cross, they could shoot, and it's in!
That guy Fran, he gets inside and gets a shot past the goalkeeper. Wonderful work from Fran.
Malcolm with the right side, the shot and the goal! Martin, in combination with the recovery, once again the cross, they could shoot, and it's in!
That guy Fran, he gets inside and gets a shot past the goalkeeper. Wonderful work from Fran.
Malcolm with the right side, the shot and the goal!
degrees. Now, of course, we're into the evening, which means mercifully there's going to be less sun and hopefully a little less heat, although sometimes these turf fields do take a while to cool down. Perhaps that will affect the tempo of the game, which in the first half was a fascinating match, as I speculated early on, more of a chess match, but not particularly peppy. Maybe we'll see a little more evidence of that in the second half. Here, a great opportunity created by Watts, some good footwork from him, rattling the crossbar. Watts was a nuisance the entire first half, as you can see here, picking the pocket of the Southern Indiana defender before he was able to recover. This corner then falling to Watts, not able to get his feet adjusted quickly enough, came to him at such pace. Southern Indiana having an opportunity of their own. It was offside. It certainly kept Dornhauer in the tempo goal on his toes. And then that opportunity, a simple one for Caden in the Southern Indiana goal to gather up. There was one other shot in the first half as well, which I don't think got on replay, but really great effort from distance. Cadian in the Southern Indiana goal doing well to athletically spring and palm that shot away. And that really was it. Again, I did say at the top of the broadcast, when you have two teams that are 1 and 2 in the table, both with winning records so far this season, you do always expect it to be a cagey affair, and it has been so far. Let's see if it opens up here in the second half. Your Tennessee Tempo FC in their distinctive all-red uniforms, going from right to left on your screen and getting ready to kick off. And of course, Southern Indiana then going from left to right in the all-white uniforms with the teal accents. Tempo versus Teal Nation. Who takes all 3 points? Let's see if the next 45 minutes can give us a definitive answer. Long ball from Tempo from right to left. Not very convincingly cleared from Southern Indiana. Taking 2 bites of the cherry. Might take a third. Tempo aren't going to allow a third. 1 possession in the interim. Southern Indiana in the first half sitting very deep, very low block, having almost all of their players in their defensive third. Whenever Tempo were in possession and in Southern Indiana's half. Tempo need to be just that little bit more creative if they're going to unpick that lock. Southern Indiana did spring on a couple of occasions, as we saw from some of the highlights. Their attacking efforts were few and far between. I speculated right at halftime they might be happy with the point on the road today. Don't want to second guess their coach or what they're thinking, but could be what they're set up for, and that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Taking a point from the current UPSL national champions. That's nothing to be sneezed at. But maybe Southern Indiana have something else in mind. Guess we're going to find out, aren't we? Good hustle from Watts. Easily snatched up the air from Dornhauer. Tempo being typically patient, just as they were in the first half. Just pinging the ball around, trying to create space, trying to create an opening. Southern Indiana sitting deep, trying to absorb the pressure. Allen now springing the ball out wide. This might be an opportunity. Good work from the tempo, though. Some cute attack from Hadji, but actually, it may have been Kellen. It was Kellen out on the right-hand side. Strong defending from tempo. Southern Indiana playing the ball inside. Out of play. Well, I guess tempo misjudged that. I think they thought the ball was going out for a goal kick. Referee instead adjudging it to be a Southern Indiana corner. And I'm trying to remember, this is their first of the game. Might have had one other in the first half. I didn't make note, so this could very well be their first corner of the game. Wouldn't that be wild if they were to score off of it? Into the box. Oh, Watson was scoring in his own net. Does a really good job of readjusting his feet there and actually deflecting the ball out. It was great improvised defending from a striker. Now we have a tempo player on the floor. There was a collision of bodies. Again, nothing, I think, malicious, just quite that, a collision. Kamara's on the ground, back on his feet now. Yeah. Kamara actually falling into one of the Southern Indiana players. Hopefully we get to see that corner played back again, if we have the opportunity. Not quite sure how Watts was able to keep that ball out of the net, but somehow he adjusted his feet and was able to deflect it out the right way. Southern Indiana looking to try and break again. It's late contact, but the referee decides nothing in it. Tempo in possession. Southern Indiana trying to cut down the outs. All into the box. Good safe hands from the Southern Indiana goalkeeper. Had to be. And a couple of tempo players ready to pounce if he dropped that ball. One of them, Watts. Excellent work from the Southern Indiana goalkeeper. Well, I don't know what's going on, which is never a great spot for a commentator to be in. Are they saying now for a corner? It looks like. All right, well, I can't make head nor tail of that, but what we do have is a tempo throw-in corner, free kick, corner. We're going with corner. All right. Drifted into the middle of the box. Southern Indiana able to clear. Snapshot from tempo. Southern Indiana again picking up scraps, and this shot from tempo fired wide. At number 5 for Tennessee Tempo is a half-time substitution. Unfortunately, we don't have their subs listed here, so I can't give you a name, but he has been pretty heavily involved in the early first few minutes of the match. The second half of the match, I should say. One kick out from Southern Indiana. They're able to get on the end of it, but are they able to make anything of it? Strong defending again from tempo. Referee deciding that Southern Indiana won that ball back unfairly. Tennessee Tempo having their moment in the sun in the spring season when they raised that national championship trophy, but Southern Indiana also had a pretty exciting season of their own, in addition to having an unblemished record in the league and going in a postseason, of course, making it, as I mentioned earlier, to the round of 32. Also qualified them for the Open Cup. So they represented UPSL in the Open Cup, sadly not able to get beyond the first round. But nevertheless, that is quite the achievement. Pretty exciting for the players of Southern Indiana and the club as a whole. For those of you who don't know, the US Open Cup, the oldest and most prestigious domestic cup competition in United States soccer. Ball into the box from Tempo. Oh, almost connected with the back of the post. Southern Indiana scrambling a little bit to get rid of it, but it's clipped back in. Tempo may have a second opportunity. They don't, though. Easily collected on this occasion by Cadian. Nervy moments from Southern Indiana as that ball spanned to the back post. Only an unmarked Tempo player. While we're on the topic of the US Open Cup, I'm going to put a little plug for my MLS team, Austin FC, who I'm very proud to say are a US Open Cup finalist. They'll be hosting Nashville in the beautiful city of Austin at the magnificent Q2 Stadium. Yours truly will be in attendance. Ball to Tempo. Shot across the box. Watts gets on the end of it! And he bundles it into the back of the net. And I don't know that anyone other than him quite knows how. But it really doesn't matter, because somehow Watts found a way to get on the end of that ball into the box, directing it past Cadian and giving Tennessee Tempo the lead. It was a long ball brought down by Tempo. Southern Indiana really getting caught on the hop, but there was a speculative ball into the box. Again, not cleared by Southern Indiana. Still, not even rewatching it, don't quite know how Watts was able to connect with that and put the ball in the back of the net, but he found a way. And Tennessee Tempo are a goal to the good. It had to be that man, didn't it? Suggested that Watts was the most likely to break the deadlock. So it has proven. Blonde-haired bulldog at the Tennessee Tempo. He has been a thorn in Southern Indiana's side all night. One of the most opportunistic strikers that I've seen actually in recent times in UPSL. He's a good player in and of himself, but goodness gracious, is he always looking for that half chance, always looking to run off the shoulder of a defender, always looking for a goalkeeper that might spill a ball that he can take advantage of. He's busy, he's on his toes, he's opportunistic. He has some talent too, and it's number 22, the Tennessee Tempo, who put the current UPSL national champions in the league this evening against Southern Indiana. 1-0 on 56 minutes. Southern Indiana looking to respond. I don't know whether or not Dornhauer got his hands to that or not. Looks like he did get fingertips to it. That came out of nowhere. Ball through the heart of the Tempo defence. Great shot. Fingertip save from Dornhauer, who hasn't had to do a lot this evening, but what he's done well. What he had to do there, he did magnificently. Corner to Southern Indiana. Could have been so much worse. Could have been 1-1. job isn't over. Tennessee Tempo need to clear their lines. Short corner. It's a good idea for Southern Indiana, but the execution was poor, and it may give the Tempo an opportunity to spring. Southern Indiana, though, getting in the way. A wrestling match, which leads to a Southern Indiana free kick. A little bit of pressure now from the team from Indiana. Their game plan was to come here and snatch a draw. Well, that game plan is currently in the trash can. The only way they're going to revive it is by getting a tally of their own. They are pushing for that. And Teal Nation get on the board from this free kick. Only one man stood over it. Nobody else has any interest. It's close enough for a shot, and it's certainly going to be a shot. Dornhow organising his line, making his defence aware of the player out wide. There's a little pushing and shoving going on the other side of the box. Referee addressing that situation. Dornhow won't be happy with this. His wall's now breaking up. He's telling them to get back together. He wants to get on with it. He keeps telling his teammates, there's a player out wide, there's a player out wide. Come on, gents. This is handbags. It's unnecessary. Let's get on with it. Now the players have had their say. Now the referee's having his say. And we're going to part friends. No additional cards. Back to the free kick we go. Tempo once more setting up their wall, and now they do have a player just outside of the wall on the left-hand side, making sure the ball doesn't get played short. Dornhauer on his toes. Ball goes over the wall. Dornhauer gratefully grasping it into his stomach. No drama from the Tempo. Excuse me, from the Tempo goalkeeper. All goes long, so that Tempo trying to track it down. Not Ventura's best work. But he is going to get the ball back in the form of a throw-in. Left touch over the top. Irish not able to make the most of it. Good defending again from Southern Indiana. Oh, Watts taking no prisoners there, and the referee deciding he needed to. He was a little robust. He's a big guy. I imagine he's a bit of a nightmare to defend. He's quick, he's strong. As I mentioned earlier, he's very opportunistic. He's always buzzing around looking to take advantage of a situation. We've seen he has a good shot. A very, very threatening presence in attack. And here he is again, trying to take advantage of this situation. Good last gasp defending there from Southern Indiana. That foot in there needed to happen, otherwise Watts was away. Southern Indiana on the attack again. This is the most we've seen from them in the last 5 minutes. Ever since Tempo scored the goal, Southern Indiana have, if you pardon the pun, up the tempo. So now we have a corner to the team from Indiana. Dornhauer back on his toes in the Tempo goal. Drifting to the back post. Too much. Will even go out the other side, and it does. Tempo trying to break down the right-hand side. Ton of Southern Indiana defenders, though. They are hunting in packs. You have to admire that. They're able to clear their lines accordingly. Can they hold on to the ball? Well, they can't, but it doesn't matter because the ball came off Tempo last, and now it's a Southern Indiana throw-in. Anyway, to finish up off my thought of about 5 minutes ago, when Tennessee Tempo so rudely decided to score a goal and break my flow. Good luck to Austin FC in MLS in the US Open Cup. The game is on Wednesday evening. As I said, I will be there. Hopefully I'll be cheering my beloved Verde on to victory and raising silverware for the first time in their history, just as Tennessee Tempo did a couple of months ago. See? I brought it right back to this game. That's a professional right there, folks. I want to give a shout out to our Veta Media team and this wonderful partnership we have with UPSL, broadcasting over 500 games a season. Absolutely remarkable, but not entirely surprising when you consider that the United Premier Soccer League is the largest professional development league in the country. High quality soccer, lots of paths to the professional game, highest levels. I mentioned Austin FC and MLS a couple of times. Players you're watching this evening may end up forging a path to MLS. Maybe even for their respective national teams, you never know. But you are seeing their formative years here. You are seeing players learning their craft, honing their game, raising silverware along the way. They may show up in your team's MLS colours or national team colours at some point in the future. Right now, they grace the UPSL, and we're delighted to cover their progress with you this evening. And nice footwork from the Tempo, playing the ball down the right wing. Not able to get across in, though, for some more determined defending from Southern Indiana. Such a hard team to break down. If you'd like to know more about UPSL and this incredible development league that they have going on, do follow them on X or Instagram at UPSL Soccer. It's easy to remember, isn't it? That way you can stay on top of all the games that we're covering, some of which I'll be broadcasting. So hopefully we get to visit again later in the season. Maybe even in the postseason. Good footwork from Tennessee. Muirhead tying things together in the middle of the park. Oh, that's a lovely first touch from Kamara. Looks to break away down the left-hand side. Yes, the ball was adjudged to have gone out of play. The lines are a little confusing here. I'm not a huge fan of soccer being played on gridiron, period. Here it's particularly confusing. You have what is a sideline, but then other lines going across it. So I imagine it might distract the players on occasion. It's Tempo looking to break. Watts is ahead of the man with the ball. He's asking for it, but he's not going to get it because, again, Southern Indiana and their dogged defending ensure they come away with the ball. But Tempo winning it back. Great sliding tackle. Clipped into the box, trying to find Watts. May he get on the end of it? Almost does. Cadian, though, snatching it out of the air. Trying to get his team going the other way. Once again, though, Watts lurking in the shadows. Excellent work from Southern Indiana in the middle of midfield. Carrying the ball forward, but again, Tempo doing such a good job of getting back, of hustling, of pressing high. They don't drop deep and wait to absorb the pressure. They just try and snuff the danger out as early as possible. On that occasion, they gave away a free kick, but look at where it is. I think you'd much rather be defending a free kick that's there than one that's on the edge of your own box. Being said, this could still be dangerous. Looks like it's Casey who's being asked to deliver a killer ball into the box, something that his teammates can feed off. That is a good flick on, but it's going to go a little too far. It's still in the danger zone though. Nice defending from Tempo, blocking an attempted cross into the box. Long ball. It's Tempo on the end of it. Cadian comes out and gathers it. There is an offside flag. One of those rare occasions where the man leading the line for Tempo wasn't Watts. He may get the ball still on this occasion. Heavy challenge is going to be an easy whistle for the referee. Well, we mentioned that Southern Indiana have been sitting very deep, really daring Tennessee Tempo to try and unpick their defense, and it's been challenging. It's evidenced by the scoreboard. Tennessee Tempo do have a tendency of finding a way in the national championship final against LA10, who are the heavily favoured team in that final, what with the final being in LA, and LA10 also not losing a single game en route to the final, and also, get this, only having conceded 3 goals across the entire season. That is remarkable, particularly when LA10 are best known really for being a technical and offensive team, but to go the entire season only conceding 3 goals is mind-boggling. Yet Tennessee Tempo went away. Goal victory, that's all it took. Watt with his usual robust, combative self there. Referee deciding it was a free kick. Southern Indiana. So yes, if any team can unpick a stubborn defence, it's Tennessee Tempo. They've already been able to do it once this evening. Do they have it in them to do it again? Do Southern Indiana have the ability to find a way back into this match? We have about 20 minutes to find out. Maybe an opportunity here. Step over in shock. Great defending from Tempo. Your Nation trying to make things happen. Time to push a little higher up the field now. It's going to be a foul, surely. Yep, free kick in their favour. I give a shout out as well to the Southern Indiana uniforms. So obviously this evening they are the visitors. They're wearing their away jerseys, which I think are just fire. Absolutely love them. But the home jerseys as well are beautiful. I think both were featured on the Admiral website. Admiral, the jersey maker. Also, to be fair, I do like the Tempo's uniform. The all red is very striking. I think their provider is Puma, who are a personal favourite of mine as well. But Southern Indiana uniforms caught my eye. It's rare you get a home and a away uniform, one as good as the other. Ball into the box. High climb from the Tempo. recovered by Indiana. The tempo, though, able to clear defense finally. During that break, we saw some substitutions and we saw the departure of the goal scorer, Watts, number 22, for the tempo. Sad to see him leave the field. He's a very entertaining player, but it looked like he might have been limping a little bit, so perhaps he was nursing a knock. We did notice in that last attack he wasn't leading the line, so maybe he was struggling with something. Either way, his night is over. Gives other players an opportunity to make a name for themselves. Right now, if you're on the tempo team, all you need to do is batten down the hatches, because you are 15 minutes away from another 3 points and from cementing your place at the top of the table. Ball into the box, not able to connect cleanly though. Tempo able to clear. Good work on the right hand side from Southern Indiana. Didn't get that cross in, was wow, but the goalkeeper's made a mistake here and there may be an opportunity for Tempo. Oh, good grief, it's the second bite of the cherry. And it is a goal, and it is the second goal of the night for Tennessee Tempo. And after having such a wonderful night as a defence, Southern Indiana find themselves 2 goals down, and that goal was really a calamity of uncharacteristic errors from the team from Indiana. First error here being the goalkeeper not able to make a clean connection. Then when this shot from distance didn't go where it needed to, the defender only took a touch, placing it into the path of a Tempo goal scorer. And the team from Tennessee are 2 goals to the good. I think the goal scorer was number 14. That's one of the substitutes. And unfortunately, we don't have his name, but we can confirm it was number 14. Doubling the Tempo's lead. Tempo have Teal Nation on their heels. Oh, can Southern Indiana respond? Ball into the box, trying to head it down for the man in the middle. I think it was Allen waiting for that ball to come back. Not able, though, to make that connection with the header. It's a little too high. Tempo back in possession. Eager, it would seem, for more goals. Doing a good job of winning the ball up high. Oh, and tippy-toeing through the defence and getting knocked down, and that could be a penalty. Referee decides not. There were bodies between him and the potential offence, but I guess he felt like he saw enough to wave that one away. And now Southern Indiana springing their own attack down the right-hand side. But very little in the way of support. Casey drills the ball into the middle of the box. Actually a pretty good ball. Not able to connect with a teammate, though. He does now at least have teammates with him. Southern Indiana getting upfield quickly. Great touch, the second one. Not as effective, blocked by Tempo defence. To see this opportunity again. And I don't see much of a connection from the Southern Indiana defender with the ball. Look like a full body up. I don't have the whistle, so it doesn't much matter what I think. Referee decided no foul. Southern Indiana looking threatening at the other end of the field. Only momentarily, though. The All now back in Tempo possession. They win themselves a free kick. Well, in addition to winning national championships and leading tonight's game 2-0, Tennessee Tempo hope to soon be announcing a WPSL team. They'll have their first women's team. You can check out their website. There's a nice splash on the homepage in regards to that. Well headed out from Tempo. Southern Indiana, they're looking to create an opportunity for another shot. Ball goes out wide. They do have bodies in the box. Can they deliver? They can. Good header out again from Tempo. It's going to be a throw for Southern Indiana. So yes, we could have both the men's and women's team competing for national championships here shortly in Tennessee. That's surely got to be a foul. Referee decides not. Maybe he decides not because it was in the box. I want to be too conspiratorial about this, but it seemed like a shove in the back. I wonder where it happened in the field, if it had a bearing on things. But Tempo winning the ball up high, and they do have 3 or 4 bodies. Potentially good sliding tackle. Yep, referee says good tackle, fair tackle. Southern Indiana now back in possession. It is heck for leather right now. Both teams going at it. Tennessee Tempo seem to have the bit between their teeth. Southern Indiana just desperate to find a way back into this game with less than 10 minutes remaining. Another high foot there from Southern Indiana, and I think she caught the player on this occasion, and that should be, it is a yellow card. I understand the intent. Nate was only trying to get the ball, but you can't put your foot that high when there's a player in such close proximity. That was reckless. And it's always important to distinguish between reckless and malicious. Not suggesting there was anything in that, not suggesting that I was looking to hurt another. It was dangerous. Referee making the right call, giving the free kick to Tempo and issuing a yellow card. Tempo throwing bodies forward. 8 minutes left in the game. They're 2-0 to the good. You think maybe they just maintain possession, knock it around, but that's not how this team's built. They still seem anxious to go forwards. Tempo again with another free kick. This is feeling strangely reminiscent of the other football right now. Just getting yardage. But this is a more dangerous one. Deep into the box. Way too deep. Perhaps even a little too close for that kind of free kick. It'd be better served to have a shot from there. See if his teammates can pick up the scraps. Either way, the ball goes out. For a Southern Indiana goal kick, and now Southern Indiana winning possession back. To try and create down the left-hand side. Nice work again from Tempo. Sliding tackle. Blocking that attempted cross. Tucked inside. It's a free kick, but the referee's allowing play to continue. Southern Indiana in possession. And another free kick right on the edge of the box. Well, they continue. They have a shot. It's well stopped by Donhauer. The referee had already indicated a free kick for Southern Indiana. And another yellow card. I think that might be yellow card 6 or 7. It hasn't felt like a game requiring of that many yellow cards, quite frankly. Nevertheless, here we are. Busy night for the referee. It's 5 minutes and change still to go at this United Premier Soccer League match. Proud to be here with you tonight and Veda Media, covering over 500 games across the span of a season. UPSL, the largest professional development league in America. Follow them at UPSL Soccer for more information. If you are a soccer fan, you really need to do yourself a favour and do that. So much soccer all over the country. So many teams you can watch on our broadcast or go see in person. All that information on X and Instagram. Shot straight into the wall. Wasted shot. Another one straight into the wall again. Do better than that when you're 2-0 down and just a few minutes to go against the current champions. Got to make them pay when you get a free kick from that kind of distance. Southern Indiana didn't. Tempo back in possession. Well, this victory will extend Tennessee Tempo's lead at the top of the table. They'll be on 12 points after 4 games. They actually have a pretty staggering record already. So put them on 14 goals for, only 1 against. 1 goal conceded across 4 matches, unless Southern Indiana do something in the next couple of minutes to change that stat. Also be double the number of points. A team in second place. They'll be on 12. The next nearest team will be on 6. Currently will be Southern Indiana, High Storms Football Club, and Inter Nashville. Southern Indiana will stay in second place by virtue of goal difference. High Storms have also played 1 more game. Actually, they've played 2 more games than Southern Indiana. Inter Nashville have played 1 more game. So tonight is by no means a disaster for Southern Indiana. Still a ton to play for. And lots of games in which to accrue points. But they will be disappointed nevertheless. To have beaten Tennessee Tempo this evening, that would have really put down a marker. And still, they look for a goal. And still, Tennessee Tempo's resolute defence denied them any opportunity. 3 minutes to go. A stoppage time. A replay of that tackle. Free kick in favour of Tempo. Oh, a collision of bodies there. Everybody in there. Dog going up for that ball. And we have the referee being distracted further down the field. So you're talking to a player as the ball goes in. I think maybe he hadn't whistled for the free kick to be taken. Fusion in the ranks. Tennessee Tempo taking the free kick again. Deep. Looking long into that left channel. Southern Indiana hanging out for a throw-in. Just looking to regroup at this point. Maybe they're thinking, you know what, getting beaten by the national champs 2-0 isn't the end of the world. We're getting them back at our place later in the season, but we really don't want to lose 3-0. Long throw into the box. Well cleared by Southern Indiana, but good snapshot, and it's the roof of the net! Goodness gracious me! Parrish, number 10, with an absolute worldie in the final minute of extra time, and you can see what his teammates think of it. Long ball into the box, cleared away, Parrish off his chest, right foot, zero chance Acadian is going to get anywhere near that. I don't know that there's a goalkeeper anywhere in North America who gets near that. Category banger. Wonderful goal from Parrish. Tennessee Tempo 3-0 to the good. As we head into extra time at the referee's discretion. Be something similar to the first half, I'd imagine. 2 or 3 minutes to be tacked on. Southern Indiana at this point just probably want the game to end. You know, it defended so valiantly for so long, but once the Tempo were able to open scoring. Oh, they didn't stop. Well, the referee has decided to put the Southern Indiana FC team out of their misery. I think there probably could have been an extra couple of minutes added to the watch. Instead, the referee has blown the final whistle, and it's the Tempo who take down Teal Nation. The Scarlet Swashbucklers from Tennessee dispatching with Southern Indiana by a score of 3-0. All goals coming in the second half. Pretty convincing victory by Tennessee Tempo at the final whistle. I'll run you through some of the highlights here momentarily. Feel bad for Southern Indiana. As I mentioned before, they defended valiantly for much of the match. Took a whole 56 minutes for the Tempo to finally breach their backline. But there's no doubt that their strategy was to defend deep, try and catch Tempo on the counter. And there just wasn't enough of that in enough quality. Tempo were patient. And they made the most of the opportunities that came their way. First of which being this one. Again, we're not quite sure how Watts got that into the net, but I mean, crazy improvisation. Opened up the scoring at 56 minutes for the Tempo. And some wild goalkeeping, coupled with some sloppy defending, presented an opportunity for Tempo's second. We won't score an easier goal all season. And then this absolute beauty off the chest, and then right foot of Parrish, putting the cherry on the icing on the Tempo cake. 3-0 your final score. The UPSL National Champions continuing the fall season the way that they concluded the spring. Dominant. Others beware. Tennessee Tempo. They have back-to-back championships in their sights. I've been your commentator, Mark Turner. Delighted to be with you here this evening with our crew from Veta Media. Proud to be partners of UPSL. We look forward to catching you on the next broadcast. Good night.
Balaci with the recovery. Once again the cross. They could shoot. And it's in!
It's that guy Fran who gets inside and gets a shot past the goalkeeper. Wonderful work.